Hey everybody, it's Mr. Lin. So today we're going to walk through how to draw, and if you want to, how to color this dragonfly design.
Alright, hey kids, how we doing? It's Mr. Lin. It's Tuesday. It's kind of hard to keep track of the days with all the time off we've had and how we're in school and not in school at the same time. So I'm on my front porch. My daughters India and Ivy are working inside on their schoolwork, and their mom's in there working from home too. So I'm on the front porch. It's a beautiful day. So that's my front yard. I got a big old oak tree up there that's man, it's shedding pollen like crazy. I covered my truck last night in pollen. It was so wild. My truck's over there, and next to my truck is my camper. So that's the front yard, and I'm on my porch. So gonna walk through drawing the what are we doing? Dragonfly. Gonna be drawing the dragonfly, and I love dragonflies. I like all the patterns in their wings, how iridescent they are, and we can do some cool techniques with the eyes. So also in files, it's my wind chimes. I love these things. So I got a piece of drawing paper. I have a little table that I'm working on the back porch. Got another table here. This is a mosaic that I'm making. I broke some tile, and so made a wave. All right, so I've got the YouTube video pulled up. And there's the dragonfly we're working off of, and I just went into the video at 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes. And paused it when she had just the drawing, and so I'm gonna kind of use that to draw. And I'm just gonna hang out and draw and talk, so you guys can hang out and draw and talk with me. All right, so a couple things before I get started drawing here. And you've heard me say this before, kids. I'm starting with a pencil. This is just your normal number 2 pencil. It's kind of sharp, but not really. I don't really like a sharp lead because, my motto, draw light until you know it's right, then go darker or trace with a marker. Well, if my pencil lead's too sharp, I find my lines are kind of darker than I want them to be. So this is kind of dull, and so I'm also not, I got an eraser, but I'm not really gonna erase if I can help it. Eventually when I add color and stuff, those, the lines I don't like kind of get camouflaged. So let's start with the head here. Got oval shape, and then eyes are kind of circles, right? And we've got the little kind of sad face for the head. And I love the dragonfly's bodies, how they're made out of the segments. I think they're just super cool. So just kind of making these kind of like U shapes, I guess. They get smaller and smaller and smaller. Gonna go all the way to the bottom of the page. Kind of cool. So then the wings. See, the wings come off of, I guess, I don't know the name for this. Abdomen? Should probably look that up. I know it has a name. I don't want to call it the wrong thing. Wing goes out to the corner, back around. Same thing on the other side. This is going to be a pretty cool exercise in symmetry. Symmetry being when both sides match. Obviously, the line of symmetry would be going down the middle of the animal. Not that way, but side to side, definitely symmetrical. So these wings don't match perfectly. This one's a little bit thinner over here, but it's all good. Got another one that kind of comes down. So down this way, kind of like that. Where does it come out? So I'm starting here. I want to get up there. So, all right. So that's fairly symmetrical. So I'm gonna stop here and let's see. I get the camera so you can see it. And when you look closely at my drawing, Like, one thing you can tell is that I got all kinds of marks. I'm not just drawing one line when I draw any of these shapes at all. So now what I like to do is to get a pen or marker and trace. Alright, so I drew with the pencil. I drew pretty light, but darker than I normally do because I want you guys to be able to see it on the video. Like, usually when I'm first drawing out a picture, it's super, super, super light. But anyways, here's the drawing. So, you know, when I'm looking at the head here, I got all these lines to choose from. And I'm just going to kind of pick one and trace that one. Of course, I'm not going to draw through the eyes. I'll go ahead and trace that line. There's the top of the head. Now you can still see all those lines I didn't trace. They're all pretty light. I don't really plan on erasing those at all. Although I could, I guess. And if you want to, that is totally fine. I'm not much of one who erases, but if you feel more comfortable erasing, you go right ahead. Look at that. Alright. Whoa. Kind of went a little bit too far over there in the end, but again, not that big a deal, I don't think. And I'm holding the camera and tracing at the same time, so I feel like my hand might be a little shaky. But it's all good. I like these. This is probably my favorite part so far. The overlapping segments of the tail. There you go. Boom. So, with the Sharpie, that's what I'm using. Okay, so now I'm going to add the patterns in the wings. Got a pin for this. It's kind of just a normal pin. And on the video, that's what I got. That's what I'm looking at. So one thing I noticed is the artist on the top has the same pattern. So she drew a line out like this, and then little perpendicular lines on each wing. So I'm gonna start there. And I'm drawing a pin. It's okay to draw in pencil as well. And then trace it, but then I'm drawing it twice. And I just want to draw it once. It's kind of personal preference. Alright, then what? Do some of these on the wings. And then a gust of wind came by this big oak tree in my yard, which right there's a big oak tree full of pollen. And it was wild. A big gust of wind came through. And it was raining pollen. Looked like, I don't know a lot about snow. So I've been living in Florida almost my whole life. But it kind of looked like snow falling. There was so much pollen coming out of the tree. So I got those, kind of copying her pattern. And now the rest of the lines here come down. So let's see if I can. Maybe something like this. We're gonna make these lines parallel, but a little bit of a curve to them also. Okay, so I have my wing patterns. Well, pretty cool. Look like bricks. So, I'm gonna get to the color in this thing eventually. But I want to do the eyes next. Now, there's a technique called hatching, which is one of my favorite drawing techniques. Hatching. Hatching really is just when you have perpendicular lines, and they're kind of, you can use a ruler to hatch because you want the lines to be pretty close together. What I do is just keep this part of my hand on the table. I don't move it. I only move my fingers. and that enables me to make those lines pretty straight. I mean, not perfectly straight, obviously, but pretty straight. Now, I kind of like the way that looks, and that's hatching. You can also, what I'm going to do, it's called cross hatching. And that means you just draw another set of perpendicular hatch lines across. And that looks super cool. I really like the way that looks. I'm doing that with both eyes. It's called cross hatching. Hatching is just one set of lines by themselves, and if you cross those lines with other lines, it's just called cross hatching. Yes. I kind of want to paint this right now. I'm not sure what I have. I don't know what you guys have at home either. I would say right now we're all doing our best. Boom, hair. We're all doing our best to stay inside. Which is, or maybe not stay inside, but not go out where there's a lot of people, to keep everybody healthy. So I would say when it comes to adding color, just use what you have around your house. Being an art teacher, I know I have paints. I wish I had markers, because some of these things would be really fun on markers, but I might have all my markers, color markers at school. So I don't know. But I think what I want to do is give it a background. Now, the design that's on YouTube, no background. But I mean, it's a beautiful day, and I got the time. So I think I want to draw a background, and I'm going to do some flowers. Maybe just 2. So all kinds of ways to draw flowers. I'm starting with the circle. And again, when I draw circles, I'm drawing a lot of lines over and over and over again, and a circle emerges, and then I can trace that later. Maybe something kind of like this. And again, I'm not just drawing one line. I'm drawing a bunch of lines. So you're gonna have it kind of pop out from this side of the dragonfly wing. It's kind of cool. Although that looks excessively large. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. And you know I don't like to erase, but I'm gonna erase that. Where's the camera? Yeah. So I'm gonna erase that. See here, I got 2 lines. I'm gonna erase that one too. You can see there's a lot of pencil lines I did not erase. They're everywhere. And that does not bother me. But hey, to each their own. If you want to erase that stuff, you feel free. Because it's art. And some people say there's no wrong answers in art. That can be true. There's definitely good technique and bad technique. But when it comes to what you like, it's very subjective. So I am overlapping all kinds of stuff here, and I really, really like it. Okay, so we got flower. Though you know I'm gonna make some stems too. It'd be kind of cool. Come out of the bottom, a couple of stems. Again, notice my lines are not just a line. I got all kinds of lines going. Grab my Sharpie. And trace. Go here. Can you hear my family inside the house? They're doing school. We got people working. Quite the time we're living in. I'm gonna draw that off the page. A little bit of symmetry there. I mean, not like perfectly symmetrical, but design-wise, you got the same details on both sides. Okay, so I think what I want to do is to paint this. Let the paint dry, and then come back with a marker or a Sharpie or a pen and just do some details in there. I also wish I have color. I'm gonna look for some color markers. You know, if I just find one or two, that's fine. Yeah, let's go see what I can do. All right, so I found some watercolor paints. These are the same kind we used at school. I got these on Amazon for a few bucks. I would not say go out to a store and get them, but if you have the means to get them on Amazon, feel free. They're older, but they still work. So I also found some colored pencils that my daughter, India, has. She's a kindergartner. She's got some colored pencils. I don't love colored pencils because they're hard to sharpen, but I got some. So, and I found a picture online of Dragonfly. So I don't know how well you can see this, but it's got a really cool like blue and purple iridescent color. It's from an article. Was Mother Nature Network is the name of the website. I will post a link to this article here on this YouTube page in the information section below. But it's a really cool article. The 7 things you never knew about dragonflies. So I'm gonna make my dragonfly like iridescent blue. One of the things I learned, well, I knew this already, but one of the things I was reminded of when I Googled dragonfly wings is that their wings are clear. They're made up of membranes. So I have a strategy that I'm going to talk about as I add color to my dragonfly. I'm going to paint it, but I'm also going to use these color pencils. Okay, so I got my watercolor paints, and I'm going to start off. I'm going to paint pretty much the whole thing. I'm not going to paint the wings, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but I'm going to paint it kind of like a blue-purple color. So, you know, watercolor paints are great. I'm a big fan. I like them because you can paint stuff, let the paint dry, and then you can draw over it. So I'm going to mix some blue and purple together. You don't want to do that in the discs. It'll mess up the paint, but you definitely can use the tray. I like watercolor paints because I like the color that they provide. I also like how, you know, when you put watercolor paint on a paper, sometimes it just has a mind of its own and you can't really control how it blends together and stuff like you can with tempera paints and acrylic paints. So I like the lack of control with watercolor paints. I also like how they're so easy to clean up. But yeah, so I'm gonna first start painting the dragonfly. Notice that I am not I never did erase any of those pencil lines. And as I color this whole thing, they'll kind of camouflage in. If you look real close, you probably will be able to see them. But I kind of like that. It's like a subtle hidden detail. So I'm gonna paint the dragonfly blue, and then I'm gonna paint the background the opposite of blue, the complementary color of blue, which is orange. So like purpley blue dragonfly, kind of like a yellowy orange background, and then because the wings are translucent, which means light can pass through them, I'm going to take some colored pencils and lightly color the wings the same color as the background. This should be pretty cool. I'm excited. 7 things you never knew about dragonflies. Number 1, they can intercept prey in midair, so flies, watch out. Number 2, they have incredibly sharp mandibles. Number 3, they can fly sideways, backwards. They can hover. Number 4, their head is all eyeballs. What? Number 5, they live as long as 2 years underwater. Number 6, some species lay eggs in saltwater. And finally, you can visit dragonfly sanctuaries all over the world. Alright, well, here's what we got so far. I just finished painting it. The paint's still a little wet, so I'm gonna let it dry for a bit. Yeah, watercolor. Now, one of the things I like about watercolor is you see where the paint's got kind of mixed up. Didn't mean for that to happen, but I like the way it looks. I didn't paint the dandelion thing. Didn't paint the eyes. I might later. Don't know. So I did the flowers 2 different ways. This one I took well, you can see I used brown and green for the middle, but this one I took a purple paint and did a ring around the center, and then I took some red and painted the rest of the I guess the flower petal. So I put the red in there, blended it together, and then cleaned my brush, and with just water I kind of spread the paint. And because the brush I was using didn't have any more paint on it, just water, that's how it goes from dark to light. So you start with, you put all your color in one spot, clean your brush, and with the clean brush that's wet, you just kind of drag your color and it fades like that. Over here, I didn't do a purple circle first, I just did one petal at a time. And you can see here I got some of the background color onto that petal, but not a big deal. So those lines aren't going to get camouflaged either, since I didn't use a lot of color on top of it. I might change that later, I don't know. I could see leaving the flowers like this. I could see maybe coming back with some green. I don't know. Green and red, you can make brown if you mix them together, but that could look kind of cool. I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait. So next what I'm gonna do is get a yellow and orange colored pencil and color the wings, which are, remember, they're translucent. That means light can pass through it. So if the light can pass through the wings would be the same color as the background behind it. So that means here would be yellowy orange, same here. This would take on the same color as the flower petal. So, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with those flower petals yet, so I'm gonna wait on that. Yeah. So far I've been working on this for about, I don't know, hour and a half, maybe. So, yeah. So far so good, I like it.
Alright, so the painting is dry. I had some lunch and I kind of sat here and looked at it. Thought about what colors I wanted to use. Part of me was thinking make the flowers green. That'd be interesting to have like green tips to like a red, but you mix red and green, it would turn brown maybe. And I already have green stems, and I don't know. I don't want the whole thing to be green. I think a little bit of green here would be cool, and then I'm just gonna paint the rest of the flowers like a serious red, like red violet. So that's what I'm gonna. I think that'll look nice. I mean, I don't know it's gonna look nice, but I think it'll look pretty cool. So let's get into that, shall we?
Alright, so I have some other interesting facts about dragonflies. You know, they don't sting, and they generally don't bite people. They've been around for about 300 million years, and if they land on your head, it's considered good luck. Huh, how about that? Who'd have thought?
Alright, so I just finished painting the flowers, and I like it better. They got some good pop to it. I really like the part here where you have the two flowers overlap. The tip is lighter than the background of it, so that's kind of nice. So now what I'm going to do is get some colored pencils, and I'm going to lightly color the wings to match the background. So we'll have like kind of a yellowish orange here, but lighter, and yellow orange here, lighter. This will be kind of like a light red, even lighter than the light red behind it. So we're doing that because the dragonfly wings are translucent, right? They're made up of a thin membrane that lets light pass through it. Not transparent. Transparent's like glass, where you can completely see through it, lets all the light through it. Translucent is when it lets some light through. And of course, opaque is a surface that lets, or a material that lets no light pass through. Transparent, translucent, and opaque. Anyways, gonna get the color pencils out and color in the wings, and then have a look at it and see if I'm done or what I want to do next. Don't do that.
How pretty is that sky today? It's gorgeous out. That's what I'm looking at while I'm working on this dragonfly, which is good. It's taken me a while, so you know, I'll repeat this again. I've said it already, but I wouldn't do this in one sitting. I kind of stretched the project out over a whole week. That way you can come back to it, add details and whatnot. Makes it a fun process.
All right, so the general idea is that I got a kind of a yellowish color pencil, and you know the sky or the background in this design is like a really vibrant yellowy orange, and when that, you know, this was real life, and the Dragonfly has these translucent wings. Well, it's gonna let that background color come through the wings, but not all the color, so it won't be as vibrant. And so what I think what the effect will be by using these colored pencils to add a little bit of color to the wings. When we use the word value, this is a very light value that we're adding. So the effect would be to make it really pop, give some contrast. And contrast in art really makes things stand out. It really adds a dynamic element to your art. Contrast in art usually refers to the difference between the lightness or darkness of something, or between two textures. You know, in your reading classes, that type of stuff, you contrast settings or characters, how they're different. You know, compare and contrast. Same word, contrast, just a little bit different meaning. Not really. So I'm being super light. I can always make this value darker by coming back and adding more color or pushing down harder with my pencil. Always better to go light first. You can always get darker, but if you do it too dark, you can't really walk it back. This is going to be really subtle. And I want it subtle. Subtle meaning it's not really going to stand out too much. Alright. So let's pick up the camera here. So that's the wing with color. No color here, but we got color here. So I think I like that. Alright, so I think I'm getting close to being done. I'm going to add a little bit of detail to these flowers. Just some lines, give it some texture. I did all this in one day, so I always find that when I'm making something like this, to let it sit for a day or two, come back and look at it and see if there's anything else I want to add. I'm going to go ahead and publish this video, though. I want to get it out to you kids so everybody can see it. But you betcha that later in the week, I am going to do a critique of this. And I'll do a video on that as well. And that's just the process of analyzing your artwork, or any artwork, doesn't have to be yours, but analyzing art, and that way you can kind of think to yourself, you know, do I want to do something else? Is it missing something? Because I've been working on this for a couple hours now, and I find that if you're working on something and you've been working on something, you can make. There's things that you might not see because you've been working on it so much, and if you walk away from it, come back to it. Sometimes you have some things that are obvious that you want to change or add to or something like that. So one of the things for this is I want these lines to be bolder, which is something that I noticed earlier. Bolder lines. So yeah, pretty much done now. What you think? I think I like it. All right, folks. Well, here's where I'm at so far. I don't think I'm done, but I'm definitely gonna let it sit on this for a little while, and then come back tomorrow, see if I want to add something to it. But I like it. This is fun to make. And again, you know, I spent about 2 hours doing this all at once, maybe longer than that. So, you know, for these art projects, you could spend 2 hours, 3 hours on one during the day, or during the whole day if you want to. Probably a more fun process if you do a little bit every day. You certainly don't have to do this much if you don't want to. But I think we're finding ourselves with a lot of time on our hands where we're at home, and our projects can be a great way to fill the time. And so, I don't know. If I could do it again, I probably would have made different kinds of patterns in the wings. They're so bricky. But I might change my mind. Part of me wants to come back and do like a color pattern inside the wings to make it more interesting. Matter of fact, I definitely want to do that. Hold the phone. Okay, so I had the idea to do a pattern in these wings, and I really like how it turned out. So I didn't get a different color pencil. I only got a few. So what I did was darker value, lighter value. And I really liked the way it turned out. Way more than I thought I would. So, yeah. I don't know. I might do something else, but this might be done. Because now that I did that, this was the part that was like unresolved to me. Unresolved meaning not finished. I felt like it needed something, but I didn't know what. And I really, really liked the way that turned out. So, yeah. I'll walk through a critique on this later this week. Talk about analyzing art. Just for the purpose of talking about it, or for the purpose of making it. And but yeah, there you go. Hope you guys enjoy this lesson, and I would just love to see if you guys do one of these. Please share it. I would love to see it. So y'all have a great one. Bye.